Make it simple and clear.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, make it simple and clear. Yeah, I can see Laureen here commenting, be simple and specific. Okay. As much as possible, keep your language simple. Avoid jargon. Okay. Whatever industry that you're in, I'm sure you have jargon that is only specific to your organization, sometimes jargon that is specific to your department. So by the time you're coming to influence, let's say the board of directors, you're coming to tell us something that you want to achieve, like an idea that you have for your department. And your presentation is full of jargon that is specific to your organization or your department. And the rest of us, we don't know what you're talking about. So already that becomes a hindrance. If you can keep your message so simple, yeah, what Simon Sinek is saying is, if a truck driver can understand your message, then that means even a PhD can understand your message. You do not have to complicate your language. And I know sometimes it's difficult, especially when we are typing an email or making a report. We're trying to appear, like professional. We are trying to make our language sound, professional. So we can start using words that are very complicated, and it's unnecessary. Yeah. The faster we can have somebody understand us, especially when you're trying to influence me, the faster you can have me understand what you're trying to say, the easier it is now for you to even have your arguments and your counter arguments and influence me, as opposed to me saying, now you are kweli anasema nini. Okay. So let me ask, you can put it in the chat box. Instead of using the word utilize, what can we say instead? So instead of utilize, what can we say? Use. Thank you, Karanja. Yeah. And instead of due to the fact that, what can we say instead? Instead of due to the fact that, what can we say instead? Because. Thank you, Lorena. Okay. And instead of at this point in time, what can we say? Now. Thank you, Anthony and Helen. And what about a shorter? Instead of we would like to make the recommendation that, how can we make it shorter? We recommend that. Okay. Thank you. Right. So again, we're trying to make our message very straight to the point. So imagine you are writing an email. Oh, due to the fact of the ongoing corona, at this point in time, we shall be doing Zoom. We would like to recommend that people have their, very long, as opposed to, because of corona, we'll now be meeting on Zoom. Please mute or whatever it is. Okay. So as much as possible, try to keep your words short, your sentences short, your paragraphs short, so that your message becomes short and it is easier for somebody to understand, as opposed to wading through a jungle. Don't PLO Lumumba your communication. Okay. If you can explain it to your 7-year-old, then you can explain it to your director who is 50, and he'll be able to understand it faster, and you'll get him on board as a result, faster than if he was trying to wade through your many, many jargons. And please remember, when you are the one trying to influence someone, it is your responsibility to make sure that your communication is clear and concise. It is your responsibility to make sure that it is easier for that person to understand. It is not this person's responsibility to try to understand what it is you're saying, to ask you questions. They should have understood you from the word go. Okay? So really work hard to make sure that your communication is easy to understand. Now, you probably now think that I am in love with acronyms. KISS. I have another acronym that I want to talk about. You can see here from my presentation, niko na vitu zinangalangala zina meta. What do you call these things? Write for me in the chat. What are these things that are meta? Naona mtu anasema glitter. Yeah, it's true, glitters, yeah. So stars, yes, star. So another acronym, something that you can use to help you make your communication, again, compact. If you can make your communication shorter, it's easier for somebody to understand. So STAR, it stands for situation, task, action, and result. if you have ever prepared for a serious interview, perhaps you've already heard of STAR. It's something that we use when we are training people on how to interview. Okay? It's an easy way to answer a question, especially these behavioral questions. When the panel is asking you, tell us of a time when you had a difficult colleague and you had to convince them to do something your way. Okay? Tell us of a time when you had an angry client. How did you handle that? So it helps when you have that STAR as a basis for you to now structure your answer clearer. Yeah? And I like to use it as well when I'm training in communications, just to let people know that it's a way, it's a tool for you to have shorter and clearer communication. So the situation, what happened, who, when, okay? The task. If you're talking about a past activity, what was done, okay? What needs to be done. If you're talking about the future, the goal, the action, what resolved the issue, what will resolve the issue, okay? And the result, what was the outcome, or what will be the outcome, okay? So again, this helps you structure your message so that, for instance, if you're trying to influence your boss, maybe you have decided that it is a good idea for your department to be taken to Dubai for team building, okay? So you need 30 million shillings or something of the sort to take your team to Dubai for team building. Yeah. Then you remember that in the past, you took your team to Mombasa and it went very well. So you can start with that. You're trying to influence your boss. Yeah. So you remember we had an issue with some of our team members who were not meshing well. And as a result, productivity was down. Yeah. And we decided to do a team building. We went to Mombasa. We were able to hash out some of our issues. And when we came back, people worked very well together as a team. They had gelled. And I'm sure you can agree with me and you can see the numbers that productivity went up and our sales improved, or whatever it is, situation, task, action, result. And then now you launch into what you're trying to influence. Okay. So I've noted that Dubai is undergoing major changes in technology. And we've seen that when people travel, they see a lot and they come back with good ideas that they're able to implement. You can give ideas. Yeah. So we've noted that for us to move farther as an organization, it is good for us to go and see other things. And so I'm requesting for this such an amount to take my team here. And as a result, we'll be able to have better ideas or whatever it is. So you can see how you can use this to structure your communication and now be able to hit what you want to hit. So you don't end up rambling and going around the bushes, but you become very clear what you're saying. And you're able to have very good examples when you're challenged or asked a question. Okay.
You have a question?
I can see a question.
Yeah. Is crying a form of communication?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're going to talk about body language. Yeah, we're going to talk about body language, and it is a form of communication, right? So I'll talk about this in terms of a setup that is professional. So when you're in a professional setup and somebody is crying, we always recommend, crying is not a bad thing. In fact, I've read so many blogs and books where people are advocating for it because it's a way of releasing tension. Yes. So I could be a director sitting in your board and munaniambia kitu na nimesikia vibaya na nimeanza kulia. Don't take it as a weakness. It's just a way of me releasing tension. The way some people might shout, some people might retreat and become silent and not talk. For me, I'm releasing my tension by crying. Okay. So we advocate that you allow the person to cry, to collect themselves, then they can come back and say, okay, the reason I was overcome with emotion is because I felt it was unfair, whatever you are telling me or whatever it is. So yes, it's a form of communication. Don't run away from it. If it happens to you, maybe you're a supervisor or a boss somewhere and you're reprimanding somebody and they start crying. Don't now say, oh my God, ameanza kulia. Kifanya nini? Na uanze kutoroka. No. Just tell them it's okay. And just let out your feelings, your emotions. We shall continue when you feel ready. Okay. So let the person cry, then we can continue, whatever it is we're discussing. If they feel that they are okay continuing, because some people will be like, it's okay, I'm crying, yes, because I'm angry, but it's fine, I can still continue. Let them continue. They can cry and be angry and say, I'm crying because it's unfair. You said this and it was not fair. And then you can continue the conversation. Okay, Francis, I hope I've answered your question. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. So thanks, Francis. You have moved us to the nonverbal communication skills. I'm sure you've heard the saying that actions speak louder than words. Very important, because when you're communicating with somebody and you're trying to influence somebody with your communication, you need to be aware that with face-to-face or face-to-screen to face, it is not just what you're saying that is communicating. Your body is also sending a message that is very loud, so the recipient can hear your message. Okay. As an example, I'm sure if you look at this picture, you can tell that it is not all good in paradise. Hapo, things are not good. Things are probably very, very thick. I like this quote by Peter Drucker, that the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. So that includes the body language, it includes the tone of voice. You need to pay attention to what somebody is not necessarily speaking, but they may be expressing in another way. So here it is twofold. You need to think about what your body is expressing, so that if you are, standing in front of a board and you want to tell them of this exciting idea that they should approve your team to go for team building in Dubai, and you're there like, good morning, directors. I'm very happy to represent the training and HR team. I think it's very exciting for people. I mean, come on, tell your face. Tell your face that it is exciting. If you're presenting and it's something that is exciting, you need to have that excitement. There should be energy in your body, your face should show that it's exciting, right? If you are trying to convince us confidently that you've done your research and you have seen that teams that go outside of the country perform better, you cannot come to the board and be like, so tunaulizia 30 million. I think itakuwa mzuri. And you're there biting your nails. You're not looking at them in the eye. You don't look confident. How are we supposed to sign off on you spending 30 million shillings on this idea that you're confident about? Yeah? Your body has to show confidence. You need to come square off and you're looking at us and you're giving us eye contact and you're telling us, this is going to work. I have done my research, so that we feel like, okay, huyu mtu anajua Kenya nasema. Okay. So let me start by asking you guys, do you think appearance is important? The way you dress? Is it important? You can write for me, yes. Very, yes. I can see very. Thank you, Robert. Yes.
It has impact, very big impact.
Very big impact. Thank you, Robert. Yeah? And for this, I want to give you guys a scenario. For parents out there, if you have children, maybe this has happened to you in the past and you can picture it very well. For those of you who don't have children, maybe you have nephews and nieces, but picture this scenario. Your child has been sick the entire night. Okay? Or maybe if you're an auntie and uncle, you have been babysitting your nephew or niece and they're sick the entire night. Umepatia Calpol, you're checking the temperature, you're trying, you're paying fluids and you realize, it's like they're not getting better. I need to rush to the hospital. Okay. So you call an Uber and it's very serious. Unaingia hospital, umebeba mtoto and you're like, I need a doctor. Very quickly, emergency, please. Where is a doctor? And this guy shows up and tells you, mimi ni daktari, nipatie huyo mtoto, nitamutibu. Do you hand over your child to this person? Now, because I'm sure you have your points to note, I want us to do a small poll. We'll issue a poll for you to write down what you think. Vote. Are you handing over your child to this person? I can see Susan writing a no, a big no, capitalized. Yeah. I can see Simon has shared with us the poll. So vote.
Leo.
Lorraine is saying, if it's the only option, I would, but with doubts. Jennifer Menieka. Nope. Never. I hope you're all seeing the poll and that you have voted so that we get the results and see what people are thinking. Na hizi no zenu kwa chat ziko very strong. Very strong nose, never. Cecilia says no, he looks like a gangster.
That's what we need, more votes. We need more than half of the people. We are 95 people. So 40 something have voted. So let's vote in the next few seconds.
Thanks for that, Simon. Yeah, so Simon has sent us a poll. It should have popped up on your screen. So just click whatever it is you agree with. Then we'll be able to see what the majority are thinking. David says thanks, but no thanks. Anthony, you say, no, he's not wearing a mask. Is that your only issue? The lack of a mask?
Yeah, I think we have over half of the vote. So let me, in the interest of time, I think I can share the results now.
Titus is saying I would give him a disc jockey role. Hey, hiya. The poll is in. The results are in. A whopping 52% are saying his appearance does not inspire confidence. 34% are saying, no way, he looks like a kidnapper. Guy, maskini, kidnapper. 12% are saying, no way, he's not appropriately dressed. And 6% are like, why not? Clothes are not a degree. Kwani nguo ni degree? So what about now? Are you likely to hand over your child to him now? With the image on the left, he's dressed like a doctor. I'm sure you would. And the only thing that has changed is his appearance, what he's wearing. So dress is very important. Your appearance is very important. You need to bear in mind that you are really an ambassador for yourself and your organization. When you're trying to influence somebody, you need to know how you want to be perceived. Okay. And at the same time, you also, we talked about knowing your audience. You need to think about this person that you're going to talk to. How do they dress? So that if you're trying to go and influence a client to do something, and maybe the client owns a mechanic, a garage, you cannot show up there in a full pinstripe suit. Wanaume, hata uko na pocket square, hata bow tie, it's ridiculous. And if you're a lady, you cannot show up there in a 6-inch heel, and you're now trying to tiptoe around the guy's garage. You're going to influence him. He will feel like you're overdressed, you're not matching him. Okay? But if you're trying to influence somebody who is top-notch, this is a well-dressed person, even you have to step higher. You cannot show up in smart casual because they'll feel like you've not taken it seriously, that they're well-dressed and you're not taking it very seriously. Okay? So please make sure that you watch how you dress. It's very important. And together with this, I think you can also see his body language somehow has changed. When he was dressed very casually, ameshikilia belt. So his body language probably was also adding to that feeling of, I am not very confident about this guy. Whereas now, how he's holding his hands, he looks a bit more professional. So when it comes to body language, please, you need to consider your posture. Okay? Square off with people, whether you're sitting or standing. Imagine if I was here training you and nimelalia sofa hivi. In as much as my couch is very comfortable, it would not inspire confidence in you. Yeah. So your posture, you need to square off your shoulder. You face the people that you're speaking with. If you're sitting, sit up. If you're standing, you should also be upright. Watch your posture. Eye contact should be there. You need to be looking at people in the eye when you're talking to them. But make sure that it is not uncomfortable eye contact. It's like I'm trying to, I'm stalking you with my eyes. I'm seeing into your very soul. No. Yeah. Especially when you're face to face with somebody, avoid the eye contact that is too prolonged. That makes somebody uncomfortable. You can break the eye contact so that if we're talking about something and I have it in front of me or something, I can look you in the eye, then kidogo, I direct your attention to the document we're talking about. If I'm doing a presentation for the board, I have my PowerPoint with my clicker, I can give everybody eye contact. Then at the same time, I look at my presentation, okay, so that I break the eye contact. So don't stare too much into somebody's eyes. They'll feel uncomfortable. Watch your face and your head, okay, your facial expressions. If you are confident and excited about something, your face should show it. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're looking down, if you're looking unsure, you're not going to inspire confidence in whoever it is you're trying to influence. Okay. Your hand, leg gestures, your gestures should be purposeful. If you're going to use your gestures, they should be purposeful and not just for the sake. Yeah. Don't just throw your hands all over there because you might be to mere gestures. They should be deliberate. Okay. And handshake. Now see a handshake, political handshake in quotes. Now we're in coronavirus times. We still have to greet people. And sometimes it feels weird because in the business setting, we're used to the handshake. Okay. But that has to change. And professionally, things like kugota might not be the best move. That one is okay if you're interacting with your colleagues or people that you know, but not with directors. Umeingia a board meeting na unaanza kugota directors and the chairman of the board. Okay, or the chairperson, I should say, of the board. Okay, don't do that. Avoid that. Nowadays, a simple greeting is very okay. A smile and a greeting. Good morning, everyone. And you can wave, yeah? Good morning. You can do the politician. Morning, team, or the prayer hands, yeah? Good morning, guys. The hand on the heart. Morning, are we all well today? My name is Anne. I'll be taking you through the budget or whatever it is. So there are other ways to greet without making people feel uncomfortable. You don't have to shake. You don't have to come so close to me so that you give me elbow. You can wave at me from far and then we proceed with the communication. Okay. So I hope we are okay so far. That was nonverbal. So now we want to move to paraverbal, which is your voice. Very important. I'm sure you've heard of that saying that it's not what you say, but how you say it. And I want you to do a small activity. You don't have to unmute, otherwise it will be a cacophony. It will be a joyful noise, not a joyful sound anymore. But you don't have to unmute, but just do this for yourself. Just hear yourself saying it. How stressing one word in a sentence can change the meaning of a sentence. Yeah. So practice this by yourself. Yeah. Saying the sentence, I didn't say you're stupid, and put an emphasis on the word say. So it becomes, I didn't say you were stupid. Okay. Emphasizing you, I didn't say you were stupid. And emphasizing stupid, I didn't say you were stupid. Okay. So that I didn't say you were stupid, but perhaps I made a meme. We are living in the 21st century. I could have created a very awesome meme of you. I posted it to the WhatsApp group for the entire company. And it's basically saying you're stupid, but I never said with my mouth. Okay. I didn't say you were stupid. Maybe I said your boss or your husband, your wife, your children are stupid, but not you. Okay. I didn't say you were stupid. Maybe I used another word, that you are a blockhead or a dunderhead. But stupid, ulisikia wapi? Mimi, sikusema hivyo. Please don't be our politicians who will say something and then backtrack and start saying, Mimi, I never said that. Okay? But you can see how just changing the emphasis of one word can change the meaning of a sentence. So with paraverbals, we're saying that your voice is like an instrument. So you can use it to make a joyful sound, or you can use it to make, a clanging noise that nobody wants to hear. And the elements of paraverbal communication are pitch, volume, pace, and tone. Okay? Pitch, how high or low the key, the range of your voice. Volume, how loudly or softly you speak. Pace, how quickly or slowly you speak, and your use of pauses. And tone, this is the quality of you now using your voice to show an emotion. So you can speak in a way that is showing us that, hi, nimechoka, nimeboeka. Okay, so you can inject an emotion into your voice by tone, right? Now, in the house today, I don't know if we have any Disney fans. Earlier, I talked about Tom and Jerry. So now you know that I am an adult who watches cartoons, and I am not ashamed. So I'm sure we have some Disney fans, you are there. And within the Disney fans, I am sure we have people who have watched The Lion King. That one was famous back in the day. As Kenyans, we are very proud of it. Yeah? So I'm sure you are there. I want to play you a very short clip just to talk about pitch, to highlight pitch. Okay, just pay attention.
Look, kid, bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Wrong! When the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
Well, that's not what I was taught.
Then maybe you need a new lesson. Repeat after me. Hakuna Matata.
Simba, let me tell you something that my father told me. Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars.
Really?
Yes. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you. And so will I.
Okay. So you can share your thoughts in the chat. What do we pick up about pitch from hearing those two different voices? Huh? What do you pick up about communicating with pitch?
Maybe I can try.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a deep, can I use the word deep pitch is more authoritative and kind of commanding compared to that tiny, the first version of the clip. Yeah, the voice was a bit tiny. Yeah.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I can see Stephen here writing confidence. Lorraine is saying Mufasa sounds knowledgeable and serious. Okay, Martha is saying a low pitch is more effective. Yeah. So with Mufasa, James Earl Jones. For those of you, I don't know if there any geeks in the room like me. Those of you who watched Star Wars, he voiced Darth Vader. So you can buy that he's the king. You can imagine if the guy who voiced Timon was voicing Mufasa, it would never work. It can never. He does not sound authoritative. So a higher pitched voice, sometimes it can give that impression of anxiety, like you're timid, that you should not be taken seriously a little bit. Whereas a lower pitched voice is a bit more authoritative. So we tend to take people seriously. Yeah. And it has been proven, even scientifically, that people vote for politicians with deeper voices. Okay. We vote for leaders that have deeper voices. We take it as, hey, huyu mtu ana command, akona presence. Okay. So if your voice is high pitched, usikufe moyo. Don't go thinking, hi, sasa it's over for me. I shall never be a leader. Or I shall never be able to influence somebody. Like I mentioned earlier, the voice is a tool, it's an instrument. So you can actually train yourself, especially when you feel like, hey, Hapa, I need to sound more authoritative. You can start practicing, opening up your vocal cords, like choir. I take you back to choir. Is it choir group? Yeah, in high school, opening up. When you open up your vocal cords, you can lower your pitch. So when you feel like, hey, over here, I need to sound a bit more authoritative, lower it and say, okay, here, I'd like us to approve this. Then you sound more authoritative. And again, with your voice being an instrument, it's good that you vary it. So don't be a monotonous, don't just have one pitch. You can vary it. If you want to show emotion, you can raise your pitch. Like, hey, you guys, yeah, I'm so excited. So you can raise it so that we can feel, and yeah, yes, all right, you're excited. Okay, so that is pitch. Volume, again, how loudly or softly that you speak. If you constantly have people saying, you know, pardon me, sorry, excuse me, all those things, you might realize that perhaps you're not audible. You need to be heard. People need to hear you. Or again, maybe you mumble. Some people mumble their words, they wanakula, wanatafunda, kama wako na maji ndani ya mdomo. So people are not hearing them. So you need to be clear, you need to be audible, we need to be able to hear you. Okay? And again, this is something that you can use to your advantage. If you want to show excitement when you're influencing us, you can raise your voice, but don't shout so that you don't stir the board of directors that you have come to present in front of. And at some point, if you want us now to really pay attention, you can lower and say, hey, here is where the rubber meets the fan or the road. And you lower your voice and we all have to lean in and be like, hey, what is she going to say next? Okay, so modify it as well so that again, you're interesting to listen to. Pace, how quickly or slowly you speak. If you speak too quickly, chances are, again, you start stumbling and mumbling over your words and people cannot really understand what you're saying. But if you speak too slowly, then you can be boring. You're stretching your words. It's taking too long for you to communicate. Okay, and again, use it to your advantage so that now if you want to show excitement, you can quicken your pace a little bit. But if you want us to pause and ponder, add a pause, speak a little bit slower, so that now we are forced to pay attention to your next words. Okay, so you can use this again to your benefit when you're influencing. And finally, tone, the element of the emotion that you add into your voice. I want you to do a small activity wherever you are. Yeah, you don't have to unmute. You can do this and just pay attention to how differently you will sound. Yeah? So the first part of the activity, I want you to slouch in your chair. You know, slouch. Ni kama unataka kulala. So slouch in your chair. Okay. Then don't look at my face because me, I'm too smiley. I want you to have a straight face. Don't smile. Straight face. Now ume slouch kwa chair. And with that in mind, I want you to say, good morning, welcome. Okay. I'm sure once you've said that in your mind, you probably sounded like a robot. You probably sounded like a person who is so bored and disinterested in work and unmotivated. Yeah. The second part of the activity, I want you to now sit up. Yeah. So you are slouching. Now I want you to sit up in your chair, sit up, and I want you to smile. Yeah. Some of you, I can see your videos and you look, hey, I can see some nice smiles. What wako na meno? Yeah. I want you to smile. And while you're sitting up and smiling, I want you to say good morning, welcome. So I'm sure listening to your voice, you can hear that there's a difference, that now you sound more welcoming, you sound more alert. So your body language will affect your tone of voice. If you want to sound alert, authoritative, engaged, then it is good for you to stand up. That's why we talked about, you know, presenting to the board and standing up and squaring off and looking confident. Yeah. Then now you lower your pitch. And sometimes you slow down your pace and then you start sounding very authoritative. If you want to sound excited, sometimes you move around a little bit. Don't just stand still. You move around when you're talking to somebody so that they can feel that there's an excitement in your tone. And of course, smile. It will add warmth to your tone of voice, which is very important when you're trying to influence somebody. Okay. So when it comes to paraverbals, your pitch, you know, your pace, your tone of voice, non-verbals, your body language, I want you to issue a challenge to you. This can be your homework. Something like your voice, you can record yourself speaking, then play it back to yourself later and figure out, is this the kind of sound or voice you would like to hear? Where do you want to improve? Okay. Something like body language and even tone of voice, you can ask a colleague, a trusted colleague, to let you know if there are any things that you need to improve. They can tell you, hey, Anne, sometimes if you present the boss, you hold yourself like this, so you don't look very confident, or you don't give eye contact. Start improving, and this will pay off, especially now when you start trying to present in front of a board or present in front of people that matter. Okay. So I want us to talk about active listening now. Very important. Because at this point, you have talked to this person. You're communicating to somebody that you want to influence. You were prepared, you came, you delivered, and they have raised some questions. So when they're talking to you, you need to be paying attention. You need to be listening. So in the comment section, I want you guys to write down for me, what are some of the behaviors that you need to exhibit to show somebody that you're listening to them? What do you need to show so that somebody can feel like, hey, enyewe unanisikiza? Yeah. Thank you. I can see nodding, eye contact, nodding, taking notes. Very important. Excellent. Thank you so much for this, guys. Keeping eye contact. Okay. Not browsing through my phone. Very important. You guys are professionals. You know how to do these things. You know how to show somebody you're listening. So very briefly, I just want to touch a few points. You cannot allow interruptions. And in this case, because you're the one who has come to influence me, I am assuming that your phone is on silent. It should not even be on the desk unless you're using it to show notes. If you're using it to use your notes, that's fine. And you can tell the person, I have my notes on my phone. Please allow me to look, but I'm not messaging or anything of the sort. Avoid interruption so that the person feels that you are with them and you are hearing them. You need to focus fully on them. You need to zip your mouth. You know, there are those people, as you're talking, unamwona. It's like they want to interrupt. Don't do that. If you're a person who is prone to interrupting people, imagine that there is glue and your lips cannot open. Keep your mouth closed. Because at this point, you are listening with the intent to understand. You're not listening with the intent to respond. Okay, so that you can understand where this person is coming from. Avoid judgment. Okay, you do not have to agree with what this person is saying for you to listen to them. You don't have to agree. Maybe you've tried your level best. You came up with a very good presentation. You have communicated, and they're raising some very negative objections. You don't have to be like, no, don't take it badly. This is just their opinion, their point of view. You don't have to agree with them to fully listen, but you do have to listen in order to rebut. Okay, so for you to have a rebuttal, for you to convince them, you have to have understood what they were saying, where they were coming from. Okay, so please avoid having judgment. As they're talking, you're like, maswali gani haya? No. Have an open mind. Listen fully because you're trying to understand where they're coming from. Your body language should be inviting, and you nodding, you're using those, okay, yeah, to show that you're listening, taking notes, asking questions if you're not clear. Yeah. Wow, you mentioned this, please tell me more. I've not really understood that. Please clarify. Yeah. And paraphrasing. So from what I get you're saying, you believe that Dubai is off the limit or whatever it is that you're trying to convince the person. Paraphrase what they've said to see if you've understood. And at the end of the day, when you're listening to this person, you are doing more listening than talking. The talking that you're doing is just to paraphrase or to ask a question here and there until you fully understood. Is this what you were saying? Now, Mesema, yes. Then from there, you can say, okay, yeah, here's my opinion. Yeah. Looking at your objections, here's how I feel. We can go around them. Okay. So from there, now you can present your point of view. Okay. So you guys are very good with the active listening, but let me ask you if I've heard of something called empathic or empathetic listening. Empathetic or empathic listening. And if you haven't, don't worry. I will share another video, one final clip, talking about empathetic or empathic video. Okay, watch this.
It's just, there's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's gonna stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever gonna stop.
You do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
No, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just... Sometimes it's like there's this achy... I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, that sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. Ow. If you would just...
Don't...
Try to see things...
Okay, so share with us in the chat section. What have you picked up about listening? Yeah, specifically empathic or empathetic listening from the video. Somebody's asking why the nail on the head. Yeah. If you feel like you also want to comment verbally, that's fine. You can unmute and tell us your thoughts. What do you think about that video and listening skills? Simon is saying, but the nail is the problem. Yeah, David, putting yourself in the shoes of the speaker is relevant. Okay, yeah, trying somebody's shoes or feelings of another person. Okay, thank you very much for this. So what the video is trying to highlight is the fact that it is important to pay attention to what is not being said. So listen for the feeling behind what somebody is saying. Okay, don't address the problem right away. Yes, we can see the problem. We can see that the nail is the problem and we have the solution readily. If you remove that nail, you would be fine. Yeah? But often, before we can get to that solution, a person needs to feel that we have heard them fully. Let me give you a scenario for back to the doctor. Yeah? Imagine umeingia na mtoto wako mgonjwa, you have accepted this is the doctor, he was dressed appropriately. Yeah? You sit down and you have a list of the things that you observed that were wrong with your child throughout the night. So you have the list. You're like, hey, mtoto alikuwa na fever, nimempatia Calpol, alikuwa na lia, alitapika. You know, you have a whole list. And the moment you say akona fever, the doctor is like, oh, dakupatia Calpol, enda, uko sawa. You know, you feel like, what do you mean? You want to say everything. You want for the doctor to say, okay, nimekusikia madam, before they give you the solution. So this is the point of that video, that yes, we can see the solution, but before we tackle it, it's important that we tackle the lower issue, especially the feeling issue that somebody is raising. So when you're trying to influence somebody and they start saying, I'm not quite sure about that budget. Yeah. Pick up that the issue is they're concerned. Maybe they're trying to safeguard the finances of the company or whatever it is, and be like, okay, I can tell that you're concerned about, mention the feeling. And for there, they will feel you have heard them and you have understood them. Then now you can move on to, yeah, this is how we're going to work it out. I have noticed that we can get sponsors or whatever it is, that the solution that you have for their issue. Okay, I hope I'm making sense there. Bottom line being that you need to listen to more than what the person is saying. You need to also address what that person is feeling. Very important, so that they feel that you have heard them and you have understood them and that you're on the same page before now you start addressing their issue. So always acknowledge. Earlier on, I talked about acknowledging when somebody's body language has changed and their face has changed. Acknowledge and say, hey, Anne, when I mentioned this, I noticed that you looked a bit worried. Is there anything that you need me to clarify? And the same as when you're talking to somebody and they say something, you can be like, oh, it sounds like you're a bit worried about this. Is there anything that I can clarify? So always acknowledge when you hear something, say something, acknowledge it so that now you can move on from there. Okay. Stephen Covey, in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Earlier on, we said that when you are conveying the message, it is up to you, it's your responsibility to make sure that you are understood by the listener. But when they are talking to you, you try to understand them. So seek to understand them. Okay? Ask questions, dig in and see where are they coming from, so that you can now address their issues better. Okay. Right. So as a parting shot, I like this quote by Brian Tracy that your ability to communicate with others will account for a fully 85% of your success in your business and in your life. Very important. Okay. If you can communicate well, it means you can influence others well, and you can achieve your goals that you want to achieve in your life or in your business. Okay. And Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. Very important as well when you're trying to influence people. Don't forget that it's a relationship that you're trying to build, a relationship that you're trying to maintain. That's what's going to get you to your next level. Okay, so always treat people well, maintain that rapport, build it, because you never know when you need somebody. Okay, and when you're communicating, try to be positive. Okay. So I always like to end, excuse me, my training by asking you what you will change. Because training can be fun, yes. We can come, we appreciate that you've given us your time, we can have a good laugh, we can enjoy. But at the end of the day, if you step out of the training and you have not changed anything, that it is of no value, it has not added any value to you. So think about something that you will implement as soon as we're done, as soon as you log off this session, something that you will start implementing today, okay, and start doing it. Please don't write down 10 things or 5 things, just one thing, because it takes 21 days to create a habit. We don't want to overwhelm you. Don't try to do everything at the same time. Choose one thing. If you implement one thing, then you'll be better off than if you implemented nothing, or if you poorly implemented 5 things. Okay, so what will you change from today? Think about it and write it down. Okay. And as you're doing that, I want to thank you again for your participation and for your time. And I want to invite any questions that you may have. You can ask as you unmute, or you can type in the chat.
Yes. So, yeah, this session has been awesome. I didn't even realize time has gone, but I can see all our, I think, close to 85. I know we clocked almost 99 participants who are all in session throughout. I can see Faith asking, could you share the notes? Of course, we will get the notes from Anne, well curated, summarized, and then we will share with all of you, including the CPD certificate and the recording for the session. I understand not all of us, in as much as we have been present throughout the session, some of us might have faced issues to do with the internet connectivity. And so it's good when we share the recording so that at your own convenient time, you can log in and listen again to the session. I can see many delegates are giving their gratitude. Regan says, keep up the great work. Kevin Chasa says, great job, Anne, thank you. Jennifer Osiako says, great presentation. I think that is pretty much good. I know we have really learned a lot. Yeah, you can see I'm also trying to just change my, yeah, they said something to do with tone, yeah, at least to make it a bit bold. I've learned that so that when I communicate, at least there is that influence, yeah, that when the tone is right, you will create influence. So I'm really trying to pick up those lessons, and I think I'm just starting right now. So FCPA Francis says, well done. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Capable. Dave Wendwa says, thanks a lot, Anne, and your team for this talk. Great presentation, Anne and team from Lydia, Kibutu. Yeah, those are very many texts on just being grateful. And Nicodemus Azan says, thank you very much for the good presentation. Very interesting. How often will we be having the sessions? It's just amazing. And okay, I think Faith Naika, this is your first time joining us. We started the free webinars actually last year, and to be precise, during March when there was COVID-19 announcement and there was that lockdown. So we have been doing this webinar since then. They have been running on a weekly basis, touching on topical areas, public finance, things to do with data analytics, things to do with tax, amendment issues with tax, things to do with audit. And every day our professors sit down, they do research, we team up with experts and gifted professionals like Anne here to curate this content and share with us every week. So Faith, don't worry. Every week, if you are in a position to log in on Wednesday, 12 noon, we will always send out our campaign and we will make sure that you are registered for the same. So don't worry about that. We got you covered. Now, I don't think there is many questions or anything at the moment because of time. I can see that the session was very engaging and delegates were able to talk through the session. We have seen delegates chat through the chat books, and at this time, I don't think there are any questions. But if there is, you can just raise your hand, then I can pick you to hear your question, then we have Anne respond. If not, you can simply just give a text and then we can respond. Otherwise, I think we have to now bring the session to an end because we do understand that the day is still on and we have other schedules for the afternoon, yeah? And we wouldn't want to interfere with your personal schedules in the afternoon. So thank you so much, everyone. I will give this a minute to see if anyone has a question. Anyone? Okay, if there are no questions, then I will just paste the link to our website. There is the link there. I've typed www.kappabill.com. If you can browse that and go and see what we have prepared for you, of course, including the upcoming webinars where you can make registrations, that would be a good thing because next Wednesday we have another session. We'll do the campaign, we'll market it, and of course, once you get into our website, either today or tomorrow, I'll have updated the upcoming sessions so that we can all register for the same. And if you're in our database, you don't need to worry. We'll always send you a reminder and the link to access the registrations. So I'm not seeing anyone with a question. And at this point, I will want to bring the session to an end. And in a special way, on behalf of Kappabill, I really want to thank you, Anne. You have done an amazing job. Actually, you are among the top experts who have managed to sustain a number of close to 100 delegates. Yeah, the highest we have had is I think 102 or something, and yours was almost 100. Maximum number being at I think 99. So we are very proud of you, and of course also for our delegates who have trusted in our services all this time. So with that, everyone, I want to wish you all the best. I want to wish you an awesome afternoon. And let's catch up again next week, same time. Thank you so much.